One of the most vital conversations to have during the sponsor brief is a structured conversation around the quality expectations of the sponsor. And it's not good enough for a sponsor to simply say he or she wants high quality or is okay with average quality, because that's not defined enough. It's not precise enough to enable the project manager and the project team to achieve that. More critically, if we come back to the idea of a project existing in an ecosystem, the sponsor may have one set of expectations around what quality is to the sponsor, but critical stakeholders will also have different views, and it's a bit like that story we told about the blind mice and the elephant. Each stakeholder could have a very different view of what quality is required for a project to the sponsor. And of course, inside there is the project manager and project team who need real clarity on what quality expectations are. So getting some clarity and non-subjective view of quality is a critical part of the sponsor brief. And the tool that we use is basically an international standard which defines quality in terms of business and IT projects as a set of attributes. And the sponsor may decide, I want this attribute, this really matters, or this one sort of matters, or I don't interested at all in that particular attribute. Very quickly, there are 10 attributes. Conformity is, does the product have the right functionality and the right data or the right processes to do its job? And typically that's going to be mandatory. It must happen, of course. Then the question around the usability, how easy is it to use? How reliable is it? Does it have to work without any errors, or can we tolerate some errors? Those sorts of questions. How efficient is it? How quick is it for people to learn how to use it, and how fast does it operate? If it breaks, how maintainable is it? Is it easy to get it back up running again? Flexibility is about, can you extend the product? It's like scalability. Can you add additional functionality to the product once it's shipped without any extra costs or significant costs? How reusable is it? Do you want to reuse some of the project's outputs for another project? Portability is, do you want the particular product to work in single jurisdiction or across multiple jurisdictions with different rules and legislations? Or do you want it to run on a Macintosh and you want it to run on a Windows, that sort of portability? Is it secure and auditable? Of course, these are really critical in today's world. And the one that people tend to forget is what we call job impact, which is it acceptable to the sponsor for the product to disrupt people's flows, that is, to have a negative impact on their job? Or do we have to design the quality of the product so that it minimizes that impact? And what happens in a sponsor brief is the sponsors can let the PM know which of these matter the most, which of these are of concern, and which ones don't matter at all. And then it becomes a good framework to have conversations with all the other stakeholders about what their view is, to look for some consensus. So we call it a quality agreement, but it's fundamentally taking quality from some subjective thing like I want high quality to something that's more precise and understandable. And later on during the project, the technical people can refine what is meant by things such as efficiency or reliability.